there's a connectivity to this team. And that has come with, for everyone besides Chet, it's basically at least 3 years of playing together, if not more. Uh, they've been through some of the tougher moments that young teams go through. Last year was kind of their year of, experiencing the ups and downs. They surged at the end. They got into that play-in mix. That was kind of their bumpy year. Like this year, things have gone smoothly, I think in part because they've made all the mistakes that they're going to make, the amateur mistakes, I guess, for lack of a better phrase, that they're going to make. And they're equipped to play against the better teams in the NBA. I mean, they legitimately go 10 deep, like 10 guys you can rely on. Like genuinely, Mark Dagnall can look down the bench and see 10 guys that he could play. That's not nothing, especially when you get to the postseason. I agree with you on the rebounding, especially like when some of their guys, they're bigger guys like Chet, for example, and Jalen Williams and some others. They're on the young side, obviously, and you're going to go up against teams that have older, more experienced players that have some man strength to them. Like there were a couple of situations, and I know it's very anecdotal, but at least one situation that I remember seeing in the second half where Jason Tatum, I think, missed a shot top of the key and the ball bounced really high. And like the Celtics, who have a lot of older guys, Porzingis, Al Horford, Jaylen Brown, like they went up for that loose ball. There was no chance they weren't getting it because they're bigger, stronger, older, like more physical. That's just a component that Oklahoma City is missing right now. Now, I don't know if I'd go out though and acquire it because I kind of like when Chet's playing the five alongside Jalen Williams. I think it's what makes them the kind of team that they are, makes them as effective as they are. They're still like the best 3-point shooting team percentage-wise in the NBA. That's a big reason why, because everybody 1 through 5 can shoot the three pretty well. So I don't know if I just like go out and try to add that piece to the mix. But I agree with you. The physicality, the rebounding, that could be a problem against, say, a team like Denver in the postseason. Maybe not so much against the Suns. Nurkic is there, but whatever. Like you're not going to be terrified of Yusuf Nurkic. The Clippers, Zubac is there, but they play smallish too as well. Like they're not a super sized team either. I think the Nuggets are kind of the team you'd be most concerned with. Whether it's Jokic, Aaron Gordon, like they've got some guys that could beat you up a little bit on the inside. Michael Porter Jr. is a tall, small forward as well. So that's one of their problems. And then then there's the obvious kind of a cliche where it's like, most teams that don't have playoff experience don't succeed in their first run through the postseason. Now, I know they were part of that play-in mix last year, but if they're like the 3 seed in this year's playoffs, yeah, it's a stretch to assume they're going to make it all the way to the NBA Finals in their first go-round in that type of situation. But they've got a lot of guys, man. I'm watching Cason Wallace out there. Cason Wallace is like exactly what this team needs him to be, a corner 3-point shooter who defends multiple positions. Like this, like they just keep hitting and hitting and hitting on these draft picks. And, from a talent perspective, you have a hard time seeing them being out-talented by teams in the playoffs.
Yeah, you hit on it really well. And, I was looking up, I think The Athletic had these numbers that because of all these positive things that you outlined, like this is the Thunder's best start to the regular season since 2015-16. When they had guys like Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook and that deep team on their roster to make a run and, almost got to the Western Conference Finals if it wasn't for, or the NBA Finals if it wasn't for squandering that 3-1 series lead against the Golden State Warriors. And I think the thing that we have to keep in mind, like, yeah, experience might help, but I think when I'm looking specifically at the Western Conference, that might really only play into the Denver Nuggets advantage because not only they're the NBA champions, they got Nikola Jokic, but they have that continuity. They don't have as many health concerns. But when you look at the rest of the Western Conference teams that are supposedly better against the Thunder on paper, they just have so many health question marks that you don't know how they're going to hit other than knowing that it's going to be an issue at some point, some way. When you're looking at teams like Phoenix, like the Clippers, like the Lakers, all those proverbial dark horses, Dallas included. So yeah, I think the Thunder are the real deal. And I wouldn't fault you right now, Chris Mannix, if you do two things. One, if you book your flight for OKC in June and you start, making some recommendations for Boston for the Oklahoma City Thunder media visiting, and also maybe change your power rankings, right? What could